Hello friends, today in this class we will try to understand what exactly is inheritance. So it's not inheritance, it's not a very new topic for you. Inheritance we have already seen in C++. It's all about deriving one property of a class into another class. For example, here you are seeing a class by the name employee with a member float which is of type salary. So employee is a class, float is a member, salary is a member of type float. Now programmer is another class which has got a member by the name bonus and is type of int. When we have this kind of an arrow here, it shows inheritance in our field. So this means that employee is the superclass and programmer is the subclass. See what happens in a superclass. A superclass always contains some generalized topics. For example, a superclass can be animal, subclass can be lion, tiger, monkey, and so on. If a superclass is aquatic animal, then the subclass will be fishes, whales, crocodiles, tortoise, and so on. So whenever we create a superclass, then we have to ensure that superclass, whatever we have in superclass, shall be applicable to almost all the classes it's going to inherit. So that's the basic fundamental. So here in this image, you are seeing the employee as a superclass and a programmer as the subclass. So this means that programmer is the class which is trying to inherit properties from the employee class. So here superclass is the employee and the subclass is the programmer. In Java or in C++, the creator does not explicitly categorizes the inheritance, but for the sake of understanding and for sake of simplicity, what we do is we try to categorize the inheritance. For example, let's look at this diagram. Here in the number 1, class A is the superclass and class B is the subclass. Here we have got only two classes in the concept. One is the superclass and another one is the subclass. A is superclass and B is subclass. Now let's look at the number 2, multi-level. So here there are different layers of inheritance. The properties of A gets inherited into B, and then the properties of both A and B gets inherited to class C. So class C tends to get all the inheritable properties from class A and class B. Okay. Now let's look at the third one. In the third hierarchy, in the third inheritance, it's called as hierarchical inheritance, where one superclass is being shared with two subclasses. Class B also inherits the properties of class A, and class C also inherits the properties of class A. So this is called as hierarchical inheritance. Inheritance in Java is realized by a keyword called as extends. So we will see that when we get inside the program. Now let's look at the fourth kind of inheritance, multiple inheritance. Here actually Java does not support multiple inheritance. That is, it does not allow class C to get properties from class A and also from class B, because if there are identical properties of class A and class B, then it becomes an ambiguous thing in class C to actually identify a particular member. Suppose we have a sleep method in class A and also a sleep method in class B. When class C tries to access sleep method, then it becomes ambiguous whether it is sleep of class A or class B. So Java does not support multiple inheritance, but we have spoof. We will get to know when we go deeper into the subject. Now we have got the hybrid inheritance, where class A is being inherited into class B and class C, and then if both class B and class C properties are inherited into class D, then it is called as hybrid. Basically in Java we will concentrate on single, multi-level and hierarchical, and even we'll come across very less instances where we are going to touch hierarchical. Okay, now let's get inside the program. So we will talk about single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and then we shall see the usage of super keyword. Okay. So here let's look at what exactly is this program tend to do. So here we are looking at one program which is trying to demonstrate the single level inheritance. So here class animal is to be treated as the superclass, which has got one method by the name eat. The eat method within the animal1 class, it's going to print a message called as eating. So the class animal is the superclass. Now dog1 is the subclass. Now I want you to concentrate here. How can we make one class to inherit properties of another class? It is through the usage of the keyword extends. When dog1 extends animal1, dog1 gets the properties of animal1. All the protected and public members of your animal1 gets inherited into dog1. So no matter what, private cannot be inherited into your subclasses, right? Okay. Now let's see what's there in dog1. Dog1 contains a method by the name bark. So bark, when bark method is invoked, then it shall display the message barking. Okay, so this is a simple single inheritance. Okay, so we'll see once again what exactly is that. What is inheritance? Inheritance is a virtue. Inheritance is a property by which properties of one class are inherited or derived or gets into another class. For example, what exactly is a superclass now? Whenever we make a class super, then it becomes the generalized class of this particular problem which we are trying to solve. For example, let's see here, we have got animal. See, animal can be anything. Okay, animal, we have tiger is also an animal. We have got dog is also an animal. We have got fox is also animal. So all the animals, what do they have in common? So that thing is present or put in superclasses, something which we can generalize. For example, we can even include another class called as run, another method called as run, right? So why run? Because run is applicable to almost all the animals except few which will instead of running they will crawl, right? Okay. Now what is dog1? Dog1 is the subclass which is trying to get the properties from animal1. Now dog1 is a subclass and animal1 is superclass. Now let's look at the main class which is going to create objects. Okay. Now we have got public static void main dog1 d equals to new dog. So what is this d doing? D is an object. So using d, we can make your dog to bark. We can also make your dog to eat. So where is this eat coming from? It is coming from the class animal1. Since d is an object to the class dog1, the dog1 inherits or extends animal1. So we can easily do d dot bark and also d dot eat. So this is the concept of inheritance, where we are going to inherit properties from one class into another class. Okay, so this is the basic example what we have. Now let's look at another one. So here in all the examples what we are going to see here, either they are taken from the Herbert skill textbook and few of the programs are taken from Java Point forum. Okay, now what is this A1? See, throughout the examples I'll be using classes name number like A1, A2, A3. It's just because to avoid name conflicts. Okay, you can use anything. So now let's look at what's happening here, and if at all we have a problem, let's try to solve it. What is class A1? A1 is a class where we have got a public. So what is this, my dear friends? So in the last video I had explained, whenever you do not include anything as the access specifier, automatically it is package private or it is public within the package, right? So that is the access specification. I is package private. Further, J is private. That means it can be accessible only within the members of the same class A1. Now what is set ij? Set ij is another method within the class A1. Set ij is a method within the class A1 which is going to take two parameters x and y, and those two parameters shall be assigned to another two variables, those are I and j. So what you can notice here is that I and j are members of your A1. X and y are used just to give values to the I and j. Okay. Now A1 has got the members I, j and set ij, out of which j is private. That means we cannot inherit. Even if A1 is inherited, this j will not be inherited into your subclass. Now let's look at the class B1. What's happening in B1? It has got another variable by the name total, and it has got its own method sum. So what's happening in the sum method? The total is getting the value of I plus j. So what is I? Where is I actually? I is a member of A1 which is not private, so it can be inherited. How about j? J is a private member of A1, hence we cannot do this. It's an error, right? J cannot be accessed here. So now let's look at how our NetBeans behaves. So it says J has private access in A1, right? J has private access in A1, so we cannot access that one. So this is a simple example of how private variables are kept private to the class. Now once we have an error, there is no meaning in continuing further, because your program won't be compiled at all, right? So even if I give shift F6, we will get this message. So now let's look at what's that message. So the program is still running, so now we have to wait. So now this program cannot compile. Yes, it says there are errors, right? Okay, so this is a simple example of what kind of effect the private variable has. Now let's look at the multi-level inheritance. So what is multi-level inheritance, my dear friends? Once again we'll see multi-level where A is inherited into B and B is inherited into C. Since C is inheriting B, which has got the properties of A also, C gets the properties of both A and B. So that's what we will try to experience here. So here we have got animal2 class, the same animal class we had in our last example. Here animal2 has got a method eat with the message it says eating. Whenever we call eat on animal2, it says eating. So now we have got another class dog2. Dog2, my dear friends, see here it extends animal2. So what it gets eat method of your dog2 gets eat method of your animal2. Now after inheritance, inside the class dog2 there are two methods. One is its own bark method and another one is the eat method it got from the animal2. Similarly, now this dog2 is going to be inherited into baby dog2. Okay, now so see here, extends baby dog2 extends dog2, right? Animal 2 is inherited into dog 2. Dog 2 is inherited into baby dog 2. So now this baby dog 2 gets both eat method and bark method from animal 2 and dog 2. And at the end it has got its own method called as weep. Okay, so when we call weep, it says weeping. Public static void main. We have got baby dog 2 D. So what is this D? D is an object to the class, right? Which class? Baby dog 2. What your baby dog 2 is doing? It is trying to extend dog 2, which in turn extends animal 2. So baby dog 2 gets everything from the every inheritable thing from the animal 2 and dog 2. This is a simple example of multi-level inheritance. So what is D? D is an object of the class baby dog 2. When we do D dot weep, bark and eat, so no issues at all, right? So we should not be having any. Okay, so there will be errors. There will be an error in some other program, so we are not very concerned about that. Let's try to know what exactly this say. Weeping, barking and eating, because we called weep, bark and eat, it says weeping, barking and eating, my dear friends, right? Okay, so this is another example of what exactly is our multi-level inheritance. But getting into the further examples, let's look at what our prescribed textbook says. Okay, so before going that, let's have another simple inheritance. Yes, this is how a simple inheritance is explained within the Herbert script. It looks nasty, very big, but trust me, my dear friends, it's not at all difficult. So now let's try to concentrate here. We have got class A, okay, fine. So it has got two members, which are those I and J. What is the access specification of I and J? Access specification of I and J, when nothing is returned, right? So it becomes package private, right? So both I and J are public within the package, or they are private, package private. Now class A has got another method. What is that? Show ij. When you call show ij, your show ij should show the values of I and J, right? Okay. Now this class A, which has got ij and show ij, this class is extended into your class B. So along with I and J, so the class B gets another member, that is K. What happens to K? So when show K is called, the value of K is printed. Sum. Now let's come to sum method. In sum, we are trying to add I plus J plus K, that is I and J are the members within the class A. The class A is inherited into your class B, and class B got its own member, package private member, that is K. When we do void show K, the K value is displayed. So now similarly we have got sum method. What your sum method is going to do? Sum method is going to add ij and k. So that's all with the concept. Now let's write another class for test driving our animals and okay, so the classes. Now here in the line number 30, we have got an object declaration super OB to the class A. Super OB means super object. Now the class B has got its own member, that is your sub OB. Okay, super OB refers to A class, sub OB refers to B class. Okay, it says super OB dot I super OB dot J equals to 10 and 20. So the I and J are, since they can be accessed anywhere within the package, we can also access outside the class within the same package. So that's why super OB dot I and super OB dot J can be used here. Okay, so now mind it. So here super OB has got three members, that is ij and k. Ij and k. So I and J gets value 10 and 20, and then we have got a message, contents of super object. Super object shows show ij. So where is this show ij? Show ij is here to tick. Okay, where exactly is show ij? Yes, show ij is here. What is this show ij? Show ij is going to print the values of I and j. Okay. Now sub object dot I, j and k. So now the contents of sub object shall be displayed. So here we have got another variable k, because that k is added in the second class, that is your class B. Now show ij, using show ij we can print the values of I and j. Using show k we can print show k, and then simple println followed by the addition. So what is this addition say? Sub object dot sum. Where is this sum? Yes, sum is trying to return I plus j plus k. So in this example, we saw how a simple inheritance can be used. Okay. Now this example uses simple class names like A and B, so we should not rely on the real world concepts to be used, because our textbook doesn't follow that naming convention, right? Okay. Now let's go deeper once again. So now let's have a still more complicated task. Okay, so this looks very big, but trust me, once again it's very easy. Of course it's not at all lengthy. Yes, just kidding. Okay, now we have got what do we have in this particular example. So this is a simple example of inheritance. So now we'll get into the box terminology. So in the previous examples, in the previous videos, we have come across the box concept, right? So the box has got three members, that is width, height and depth. So this box has got one constructor. Box has got constructor which accepts an object. Okay, this is very interesting. So we are going to pass an object to this constructor. So that constructor dot width is assigned to width, height is assigned to height, and so on. Okay, fine. So we have got another constructor. Yes, this is the fate of every Java developer. So you are going to come across n number of constructors in future if you are taking up Java. So here the constructors are overloaded, right? Based upon what kind of values you pass, what kind of parameters you pass, these suitable constructors are selected automatically by the Java runtime environment. Now here, so the constructor needs to be passed three double parameters. Here constructor needs to be passed one box object. Now here the constructor, if you call a constructor, if you create an object without any parameter, then this constructor will be executed. So we have got another constructor, that is box. So if you pass one double variable, then this constructor will be called. Now getting to volume. Volume is going to multiply your width, height and depth, and it's going to return the volume. Now let's look at what is box weight is doing. So we have got double weight, so one weight parameter. Box weight. So what is this box weight? Box weight is a constructor, my dear friends. So what's happening here? Box weight extends box. That means you can access volume, and also you can access width, height and depth. Constructors are very specific to objects and the classes. Those must not be considered for the inheritance, right? Okay. Now box weight. What is this box weight? In the box weight has got the constructor WHDM. So if you want this constructor to work, then you need to pass four double parameters. Okay. So now we have got demo box weight. What is this demo box weight? A class which is going to create objects for your previous two classes, right? Okay. Box weight, my box 1. What is this my box 1? My box 1 is an object. So now in the parameter list we are passing 1, 2, 3 and 4 parameters, right? So automatically from this line number 56, your control jumps to line number 47, and those 4 values are assigned to width, height, depth and weight. If you have noticed, width, height and depth are coming from box class, and this box weight is adding the weight of the variable. Similarly, we have got another box, that is my box 2. To this we are passing 2, 3, 4 and some minor value 0.706. Similarly, my box 2's dimensions are assigned. Now double volume. So we have got another volume variable here. It says my box 1 dot volume is to be assigned to volume. So what is my box 1 dot volume? So to understand this, we need to understand what is my box 1. What is my box 1? My box 1 is an object to the class box weight. In the box weight object, in the box weight class, do we have any volume method? We don't have any volume method. So now we need to think of its superclass. So here the volume is going to multiply width, height and depth. So that is assigned to your my box 1 dot volume. The volume gets its volume value. Now volume is displayed here. Weight is displayed here. My box 1 dot weight. So we cannot include weight in the volume because the formula doesn't allow weight for the volume. Similarly, my box 2's volume is calculated by using 2, 3 and 4. 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24, right? So that thing shall be displayed here and followed by my box 2's weight, that is 0.076 units. So that is expected to be the outcome of this particular program. So let's see. So that this, since we have got many files within the project, it's because of that thing. There is no issue with this particular program. So here, this is the my box 1's volume and weight of my box 1. Okay. Similarly, so we just now calculated, right? 8 4 8 is 24. So that is this thing. And 0.706 is here, and 34.3 is the weight of first box. So this is how your programs are presented. Now let's look at another program which is going to use super, and it is the super is very important and very easy to understand. Okay. Now let's get inside the super. What is the super? My dear students, super always refers to super class members. For example, let's see here. So we have got a class A. Class A has got one member variable, that is your I. Now class B extends A. Since I is package private, it can be easily inherited into your class B, right? Okay, so now we have got int I. So B has got a constructor where it must be passed two parameters, that is A and B. Okay, so when B gets A and B, it passes this A to this I. Repeat, it passes this A to this I by using this keyword super. When we say super, we use super to refer to the superclass members. So super.I gets the value of A and B is assigned to I. Now why do we need the super? Once again, as you can see, we have got a conflict here. B also has got an A and A also has got an I. Sorry, A has got the member I and B also has the member I. If I simply do I is equals to A, then there is a confusion on which I, whether the I coming from A or I present in B. So to avoid this conflict, what we have, we can point to or we can refer to any member of the superclass by using the keyword super. When we do super.I equals to A, this A is given to this I which is coming from class A, and when we do I is equals to B, the value of B is given to the present class B's I. Now we are going to show. So what is this show function? Show function is going to display the value of I which comes from the superclass and the I which is present in the subclass. Okay, so now let's look at how this one is going to behave. So here I in superclass is 1, I in subclass is 2, right? Okay, so no, we didn't call it at all, right? Okay, we have got class super, always static void main, sub object. What is a sub object? Sub object is an object to the class B. That means sub object has got two eyes, one coming from A and one coming from B. Okay, now B sub object equals to new. Now sub object is the object to the class B. Okay, when you do 1 2, so what is this line? This line is passing parameters to the constructor if found. Now do we have any constructor for class B? Yes, we have A and B. When we have A and B within the following the same sequence, we get 1 and 2 here. So 1 is given to A and 2 is given to B. So 1 which is in lowercase a is assigned to the I which is coming from the superclass, that is super dot I, and I equals to B simply means the I which is present in the same class. Okay, so this is a dummy example of what exactly a super can do. Okay. So this is another example of inheritance where we have seen the usage of the keyword super. Where do we use super? When we have naming conflicts, or else especially when we want to refer to something coming from the superclass, then we go for this super keyword. Okay. Now let's look at method overriding. So what is this method overriding? Method overriding is very simple and it's not at all linked to method overloading. So my dear friends, that is different and this is different. So we have got class A1 here in the method overriding concept. Class A1. A1 has got two variables I and J. A1 has got its own constructor A1 which accepts two parameters, and those two parameters are stored in A and B. Further they are assigned to I and J. Within the same class we have got another method show. In this show method what we are trying to do is we are trying to display the value of I and J. Class B1 extends A1. So now class B1 extends A1, so it gets I and J and also the show method. Okay. Now class B1 has got its own constructor which takes 3 values. Out of 3 values it passes 2 values to its superclass constructor. This is the second usage of super, my dear friends. So when we do super AB, so we have to ensure that when we are doing super A comma B, this super instruction must be the first line within the method. That means I should not do this. This totally falsify the concept. The thing is, when A, B, C are passed, to this constructor, if I simply don't send A and B as it was received, then there may be some conflict of interest. If there is any other instruction at line number 27, then it might have altered A and B. So that's how Java runtime environment thinks, right? So this A and B, A, B, C, basically why do we use constructor? We use constructor to initialize something, right? Just like we are going to initialize your top of the stack in the stack concept. Similarly when we use rear and front values in queues, in the same way constructors are used to initialize your values, right? So that's the reason why your super must not be a second statement within the program. So now this B1 constructor gets two values A and B. It passes A and B to the A1's constructor, right? It passes A1 to the A1's constructor, and it keeps C. That C is assigned to K. Now coming to the show method. What is the show method is doing? Here this is what the conflict says. See, B1 has got the show method and also A1 has got a show method. When a show method is invoked, there can be ambiguity, but we'll see how this one can be eliminated. Okay, now let's look at the class override. We have got the method subobject. Subobject is the object to the class b1. What are 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3 are the parameters passed to the b1's constructor. So here we have got b1's constructor. Those three values, which are those 1, 2 and 3, 1, 2 and 3 are passed to this constructor. 1, 2 goes to the ij, and the k gets the value c. Now comes the beauty of this Java subobject.show. So here comes the understanding of how a method is overridden, right? In the overriding method, since b1 has got its own show method here, the show method which is being inherited from the superclass is masked. So this show method present in subclass overwrites the show method coming from the superclass, right? So that's why. So now when we have this show method here, it should display the value of k. So now let's see how it goes. That is the value of 3 it should display. So that's why we are getting the value of k equals to 3. Okay, so this was the method overriding. So now let's see what happens when we do super dot. Can we do this? We cannot do this because this override class is not extending your class A1. So now let's make it. So now let's ask this class override to extend A1. Okay, class override extends A1. So now I'll do super dot. So now what can happen here? So now let's look at the balloons here. Constructor A1 in class A1 cannot be applied to given types. Int. So I want you to concentrate here. What's happening? We have got A1 in B1. Now once again we cannot have A1 in override. So it becomes once again a bigger conflict when we use show. So in the upcoming videos we will come to know how exactly that can be used. But here let's try using super here. Can we do super dot? See, what I am asking you is something very different. So now let's see how many of you can guess this one. Okay, so super has got the show method here. And then the class B1 also has got the show method. So the method overriding concepts shows you how exactly we can access show method of the subclass. So this program demonstrates how a method is hidden in the concept of inheritance. So this is a simple example of method overriding. In the upcoming classes we will try to understand what exactly your inheritance and exception handling is. So today we have finished here. So in the next class we will wrap up this module 3, exception handling. So exception handling is ultimate concept in Java. Thank you.